My lower division was all bound for a business degree, but now my bachelor's degree is aimed at an arts degree specializing in acting, writing, and political science. I have 75 credits more to attain this degree. The relevance of this is to demonstrate to the city not only of my formal education in business and my dedication to the arts, but also to demonstrate my persistence in achieving goals no matter how long it takes. I've past work with the United States Veterans Administration Adjudication Division work. I have the ability to learn complex and often confusing United States VA laws, policies, and process, and apply to veterans applying for VA benefits. I have experience working with veterans one-on-one with veterans applying for benefits. This same empathy I can and will use while working with today's veterans coming back here to Washougal and helping them to feel there is someone who understands their unique concerns and fears and wishes them well and becoming contributing members of Washougal once again. And that is why I mentioned my disability earlier, which I rarely do. This could be a very valuable tool for the Planning Commission if veterans' issues or situations arise with Planning Commission functions or issues. I'm also a past United States IRS tax auditor. My ability to learn complex, extremely detailed, pre-1986 code regulations and apply same to U.S. citizens who sat before me during audit. I think the same process I can and will use while studying city ordinances and laws of Washougal, like detailed and important city ordinances and laws. I have many years successful sales and marketing experiences. I have the ability to listen to people deeply and hear what they're trying to wish or trying to convey. The ability to take these ideas or things I wish to convey in return and to do it in such a manner that I am successful in communication with these people. I have many years' experience in wood products, from the mill all the way to the consumer. Wood products is still a major employer in this area. I possess unique history in this area and the mill level, distribution, retail, contracting side, housing contractor and developer concerns, commercial contractor and developer concerns, lumber trading on the open market, experience with business contracts on all above levels and ramifications of such a deep level on all these. I have valuable years in experience in print media advertising. I understand the importance of advertising, the power of communication to intended targets. This time in sales and marketing is very important to the Planning Commission because it gives me a unique understanding of major employers in this area from ground up in all aspects. It gives me a unique perception of people from all walks of life. It gives me the power of communication. I can work with others, including developers, with a win-win approach, but always protecting my number one concern, which is the people, the property, and the culture of Washougal. This is what I bring forth with me to the Planning Commission of Washougal. I realize it is but a small picture of who I am, but hopefully will give you some new insights as to the valuable experience education I've attained thus far. But more importantly, I would think, is my desire to continue working with the city planners of Washougal and the citizens in a team format. I have a real desire to become more involved with this fine community with all its many natural resources, to its existing businesses, its warm and friendly people, and to help Washougal, my new home, to look forward toward a future filled with promise and more prosperity for all citizens and businesses alike. Retiring early has given me this time I need to help Washougal. I ask you to approve my nomination to the Planning Commission so I might continue my education with Washougal and to further my desire to be able to help the people and businesses of this area more so. Thank you very much.
Mike. John?
I have a question for Mike, if you'd be willing to take one.
Sure.
Mike, what's your view on residential development?
What is my view on residential
What
development?
do you think about residential development?
I think first you have to have businesses, and residential development usually follows business, Mr. Russell.
Okay. I mean, do you see value in residential building?
Well, you have to have a home to live in, I sure do, you need a home, yeah, sure, I see the value there.
Okay. Now, you said you didn't have any desire for Washougal to become another Hillsborough. I was just concerned, just tell me about that comment. What's your thoughts on that?
Have you visited Hillsborough recently, Mr. Russell?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
then would you agree with me, it's a very large sprawling mess with poor transportation routes, overcrowding, immigration concerns? Would you agree with that, Mr. Russell?
I would say it's a booming city.
Well, we differ there.
That's what I thought. Thank you.
Any other items from council? Okay, to be continued on Monday. Thank you, everyone. Moving on to a 2011 budget discussion. I know there are a couple of items that we want to spend a little bit more time on with the council this evening and go over. Two items that Dave's going to take on specifically. One is the additional request for funding for East County Emergency Medical Services, and the other one is some additional information in regards to the Humane Society itself. Dave?
Thank you, Mayor. I thought I would just briefly go over the rationale behind the proposed $150,000 appropriation in our budget that would go to the City of Camas, our service provider in the Emergency Medical Consortium here in East County. As you know, we have an interlocal agreement with the City of Camas. It was updated in late 2008, and it provides that they will supply a locally stationed and staffed ALS ambulance, Advanced Life Safety Ambulance, 24 hours a day in Washougal, and that was clarified in 2008. One thing that's interesting about the interlocal agreement is it's not a cost-based agreement. In other words, it doesn't say this is our cost as Camas to provide this service, and Washougal, you will pay for that cost. It doesn't identify a cost. It's a, I guess, a revenue-based agreement in that it provides that Washougal will remit to Camas a proportionate share of the EMS levy and the levy lid lift, and it identifies what that proportionate share is. Camas also receives revenue on our behalf from the billings to users of the system, not all of which are recovered, but there's a fairly decent recovery there. When this interlocal agreement was first entered into and when it was updated in 2008, we were in a revenue context where those revenues were adequate to support the system, and really into the foreseeable future, everyone was assuming that those revenues would be adequate. But you know that all of the local governments in this state, really across the country, have run into kind of a wall around revenue issues, and right now with declining assessed valuation, also the withdrawal of ECFR from a portion of the system, the enhancements that they had been paying for really required that Camas, as the service provider in this arrangement, take a look at the situation and do something, because the revenues coming into the system are not keeping up with the expenses as a function of these financial difficulties, and they need to do something about those shortfalls. What they are doing is dipping into the reserves. The Mayor Dennis's budget proposes to dip into reserves, but at the current rate, basically they run out of that and the system gets upside down sometime, I think, in 12. So it's got next year and then a little bit into 12, and then it'll get upside down. So they needed to take a look at the situation. As part of that evaluation, they did a cost analysis of the system, which I think was an appropriate step to take. And as part of that, they looked at what our cost as the City of Washougal is in terms of the services that are requested in the ILA or provided for in the ILA. Fairly robust analysis was provided.